I absolutely regret making fan art, but probably not for the reason you think. For those who don't know, even though I have posted it not long ago, this account used to be basically a TXT fan art account. So back when I started this account on Instagram in 2020, all I would post is TXT fan art. I met so many people who did the same things, who drew TXT as well, and back then, I'm not gonna lie, like you had to be there for Instagram, because Instagram back then was really fun. I ended up drawing TXT for about 2 years. My account was mainly just TXT for about 2 years. But what ended up happening was I ended up going to university, and I ended up starting to follow people who also went to university for animation, and I started seeing all these artists who were the same age as me, who's doing the same degree as me, except their account was filled with their amazing original work. They had original characters and animatics and animations and all these amazing things, and I looked at my account and then suddenly all I saw was K-pop fan art, and that made me feel so behind in my art and just behind in general when compared to these other artists. I felt like I wasted a large amount of time. It caused me to have this deep sense of regret of creating fan art, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to try and expand and draw different things and become one of those artists that I was following that was the same age as me. But what ended up happening was that I continued to draw TXT for another year. And do you know why? It was because that's what got me likes. I knew that if I stopped drawing fan art, nobody was going to like my things. For good reason, I don't blame them. I created an account posting basically only fan art for this one group. So of course, when I stopped posting fan art for this one group, nobody will want to follow me anymore. I'll have to basically rebuild my account from scratch. That was something that was really hard for me to let go of. It just caused me to be more upset at my work and at TXT, which is not even their fault. Like, they're still a great group, but that still didn't stop me from feeling kind of like regret towards TXT and stop listening to them as well completely. For the most part, I don't listen to them like I used to. I just started to really back away from them. I eventually started to post my own things and grow out of this regret. Can't find the word that I'm looking for, but there is a specific word. Hi, it's me from the future. The word was resentment. It caused me to feel resent towards TXT. For some reason in my mind, I kind of equated me not being where I wanted to be in art because of me liking this one thing. I also found that some artists felt the same way as well when they kept drawing things over and over again when they didn't want to, just because that's what got them likes and the views and the shares. Anyways, I'm going to resume the video now. Drawing fan art again and again and again ended up just making me feel worse towards the actual content that I was drawing fan art for. I also realized that the people that I used to follow who did only TXT fan art also had the same experience as me. Most of them nowadays do not draw TXT fan art or K-pop fan art at all. There has been some that still do, but from most that still do, they also draw a bunch of their original characters as well. So what can we learn from this? Should I just completely stop drawing fan art and fan art is this horrible thing and you'll end up hating your art if you draw too much fan art? No, I think I just didn't listen to my intuition when it told me to stop. In fact, if we look back at my art, if it wasn't for fan art, I wouldn't even be drawing at all now. I started drawing because I loved certain content and films and movies and I wanted to recreate them. I would redraw so many Disney characters because I used to love Disney as a child. Also, one of the things that actually brought me out of this feeling of regret of hating that I only ever drew K-pop fan art was fan art. I started drawing fan art for different things I loved. I started realizing that I had other things that I liked too. So I think that as an artist, yes, you should draw fan art, but much like every other thing, it requires balance. Don't fall into that trap of creating a fan art account only because you know that it will get you likes, because most fan accounts that only only ever drew fan art will say the same thing. I remember when I used to follow this account who did Owl House animatics, and they also explicitly posted how they hated that people only follow them just because of like Owl House, and they felt pressured to keep drawing Owl House when they didn't want to. Of course, if you want to start a fan account where you explicitly know that people are going to follow you only for the fan art and not much people are going to follow you for like your art style, go ahead, go do it. I'm not saying don't create fan art accounts. I love fan art accounts. I still follow some fan art accounts, but as an artist, especially if you want to go into some type of artistic career, keep that in mind before you create a fan art account. I think nowadays I'm starting to stop feeling this sort of regret towards TXT and the art I made of that time, because at the end of the day, that's what I felt like drawing and that's what made me happy at the time. I shouldn't feel annoyed that that was what I did. Yes, I could have created a bunch of different art, but I didn't, and I can't change that. Moral of the story is balance. You can draw fan art, but maybe don't go into the loop of drawing the same fan art over and over and over again. It's the same for most things in art. Yes, you should practice anatomy, but that shouldn't stop you from drawing anime fan art. Like, yes, you should draw your own original art and your own OCs, but that shouldn't stop you from drawing that one OC you made when you were 5 just because it had bad design. At the end of the day, it's up to you. But I'm just offering you a perspective on fan art in case you were someone new who's starting a new art account and you didn't know where to go, because I do see a lot of new artists fall into that trap where they only draw fan art because that's what gets likes. Don't do stuff based on what gets likes. Do stuff on what you love. The likes and the follows will come after. But if you fall into the trap of drawing fan art only because it gets likes, it's going to be really hard to get out of that, and you're going to actually start having a really hard time liking that content that got you the likes in the first place. But anyways, tell me your experiences with fan art and fan art accounts in the comments if you have any. Anyways, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.